Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Cassie Knoll, and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. Let's start with a look at the top weather stories from around the country. From Friday through Sunday, a large and powerful low pressure system spawned severe weather across the country. Jay Gray has more from one of the hardest hit areas in Missouri.
For 3 days, it's been a violent, relentless attack across the South and Midwest.
Oh, man!
Tornadoes, hail, flooding rains, wildfires, and dust storms.
I have vehicles crashing behind me. This is extremely volatile, very hazardous situation.
As many as a dozen states dealing with the extreme conditions. Vehicles tossed and turned over. Trees and power lines snapped and pulled to the ground. Entire neighborhoods torn apart.
Was holding my wife to my chest and just watching everything disappear and watching everything get ripped out and away from me.
Missouri seeing some of the worst of it.
Shock, numb, don't know what to think, don't know what to say anymore.
Ethan Faust lost his fiancée, one of 12 victims as a string of tornadoes cut a path of destruction across the state. The force of the winds crumbling businesses, homes splintered, debris scattered for miles. For tens of thousands now, cleanup has started across the strike zone. Families looking for anything they can salvage from what little is left of their homes. Crews clearing away the rubble.
Where we're at right now is continuing to clear roadways and power lines so that we can access all of these affected houses.
The beginning of a recovery that, in some of the hardest hit areas, will take years.
That same weather system also brought heavy rain, high winds, and severe storms to East Tennessee. Avery Gingrich shows us how neighbors in the Oakdale community are cleaning up after the active weekend.
Neighbors in Oakdale still talk about the flood in 1929. They say no storm has been like it since, but that doesn't mean one can't leave its own mark. Let's take a look. The Oakdale City Park is flooded. Neighbors say that isn't uncommon, but this is likely 3 feet of standing water. It was higher.
When we walk out our door, it sounds like there's a large waterfall nearby. It's very, very loud at our house.
Emily Plemons lives just behind the park, slightly upstream along the 2 creeks funneling the water. Plemons says those creeks have flowed heavily for an entire day. Her home is safe, but the closed park means she'll have to take a longer route home.
Switchback, drop-offs. The creek is high up there, but it's nowhere near the road, so it's okay.
A couple miles away along Harriman Highway, winds up to 60 miles per hour left a different mark.
I originally thought that the rocking chairs, the wind had just threw the rocking chairs up against the wall.
Marcia Hamby says her family woke up to this oak on top of their home. Hamby says no one was harmed, but the tree was a centerpiece of their property. She expects it to block their driveway for days as they wait for a plan from their insurance company.
It's hard to say. From what we're seeing on radar, we're probably looking at 60-mile-an-hour winds.
National Weather Service meteorologist Doug Schneider says conditions had the potential to produce tornadoes, but none have been confirmed.
Concerned about Emory River. There's houses down there that are pretty close, but now that it's going down, I think everything's going to be okay.
Plemons has lived in Oakdale for about a year and a half. She says this was her first seasonal flood. She plans to watch the weather, but isn't particularly concerned as spring approaches. From Morgan County, I'm Avery Gingrich.
As you just heard Avery say, despite having a handful of warnings, there were no confirmed tornadoes in East Tennessee on Saturday. Yes, you heard that correctly. And you may be saying, but there was clearly a rotating funnel cloud from a supercell thunderstorm that was given a warning that was confirmed. All of those statements are true, but here's a technicality. With all of the hills and the trees in our area, it's hard to tell if that funnel was actually reaching the ground. And here's some more really important information. Without any damage reports, the National Weather Service cannot verify that there was in fact a tornado. The reason the warning was confirmed at the time was because of the numerous sightings of the funnel cloud and the debris signature that showed up on the radar, which would normally mean that debris had been lofted into the air. I also saw it when I was looking at it too. However, again, without any damage to survey, there are no confirmed tornadoes from Saturday. Dry conditions and gusty winds have created an elevated fire danger across our region over the past several weeks. Over the weekend, fire crews across East Tennessee and Southeast Kentucky battled 2 fires. This is video from one of those fires in Cumberland, Kentucky, taken by a volunteer firefighter who was assisting with the response. 8 departments were able to get the 200-acre blaze completely contained, and thankfully no injuries were reported. The cause is being investigated. Meanwhile, in Cocke County, crews there continue to battle a wildfire since Saturday. U.S. Forest Service is leading those operations, and the agency says that the 165-acre fire is now 30% contained. Crews say the rain from the weekend helped with controlling those flames. Firefighters across the area have been very busy this spring fire season. Lauren Davis shares how one fire department is fighting 2 battles, the flames and how to keep everyone informed and safe in a high tourist area.
The humidity being where it's at, the lack of rain, and then the high winds that are predicted.
And these conditions have been keeping Pigeon Forge firefighters busy.
This has been a very active wildfire season for us already in the county.
With people in town for spring break and Dollywood opening for the 40th season, it's important to make sure everyone is informed. Fire Chief Tony Watson says those alerts go straight to your phone.
Well, that message will be coming out through iPaws, and then sometimes we do communicate through, let's say, the cabin rental companies, the motels.
The department also relies on you for help.
We were flooded with calls of someone not knowing about the ban, and then they're burning something small in a controlled manner. But again, the law's a law.
The chief says both travelers and residents have started fires. It just depends on the time of year.
We only have about 99,000 residents in Sevier County, and you have as much as 23 million people that travel through our county annually.
He adds, it's important for everyone to do their part to keep the mountains safe.
Sevier County uses a system called Code Red to help residents and visitors receive notifications about severe weather. You can find information about how to sign up for this service on our website, WBIR.com.
So we have had businesses report up to over $100,000 in revenue loss since the closure of Bald River Falls.
Speaking of tourism, there is hope on the horizon for business owners in Tellico Plains. The town's most popular tourist attraction, Bald River Falls, is set to reopen after being closed for 18 months. Maria Guzman shares how that closure of that waterfall is costing businesses thousands of dollars.
In the mountain town of Tellico Plains, tourism is the community's bread and butter.
Tourism helps keep the lights on here, so it's very important.
A local family of 5, and this is our income. This is how we buy our groceries.
Carrie Freeman owns the Born Again Gypsy Boutique. Since the town's waterfall closed for construction of a new bridge, things are much quieter.
Call it a ghost town. It's kind of sad. I'm ready for the hustle and bustle.
Less foot visit to Tellico's Great Outdoors means a loss of profit for businesses.
It totals out to about 46%, which was shocking.
Bald River Falls is one of the most popular waterfalls in East Tennessee. Park leaders closed access to the waterfall in 2023 to update its decaying bridge.
With the closure of that, we have seen a negative impact on our local economy.
After a 2024 reopening delay, Bald River's Falls Bridge is expected to open next month.
We're making sure to stock up. We're ready to welcome visitors, and we can't wait to see everyone as they come and check out Bald River Falls.
Cody Fisher owns Tellico Outfitters. He's ready to welcome back out-of-town customers.
I have customers I haven't seen in over a year and a half that I know would love to be here, but until that bridge opens, they're not going to make the drive. So
tourists from across the country and world visit Tellico, but local businesses rely largely on visitors from the southeast.
So that's a lot of our Knoxville, Chattanooga, Nashville crowd, because they've got an hour and a half to 2 hour drive to get here, and then another hour.
Officials with Great Smoky Mountains National Park are delaying the start of vehicle-free days in Cades Cove. Each summer for the past several years, the popular Cades Cove Loop Road has been closed to vehicles on Wednesdays. From May through September, visitors can walk and bike through the beautiful area on those Wednesdays without having to worry about cars. But this immensely popular routine seems to be uncertain this year. A message is posted on the website saying that vehicle-free days will not begin in May and that the park plans to make an announcement in early June. We reached out to the Park Service asking them why they are delaying the start, but have not yet heard back. And spring officially begins on Thursday morning at 5:01 a.m. That is when the equinox will occur, as the sun's most direct rays pass over the Earth's equator. Daylight hours will continue to lengthen until the summer solstice in June, and average temperatures will climb as we move into the summer months. Now let's take a look at that 7-day forecast to see how the first few days of spring are going to be shaping up. And we've got warm and breezy conditions expected for our Wednesday that will give us an elevated fire danger, so no outdoor burning on that. A cold front will pass through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We're not expecting any severe weather with that, but it's going to be very windy and the temperatures are going to drop. Highs on Thursday will only get into the upper 40s and low 50s, along with very breezy winds. We could also see light little rain showers in the lower elevations and snow flurries up on the plateau into southeast Kentucky and into the higher elevations of our mountains in the east. We're going to have a very cold start to our Friday morning. Got to remind everybody, don't plant those sensitive plants just yet. Here in East Tennessee, we typically say wait until after tax day. We're going to talk more about that next week in the recap. And then from there, we'll see warmer temperatures as we go through the weekend and into the early parts of next week. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can always get the latest forecast with the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.